Hello, my friends. Dorothy here. We're going to talk about the new moon solar eclipse. That's on April 20th. Now, for some of us, it's on April 19th. So you just check your local, check your lunar calendar. There you go. Now, there are a number of things that we need to talk about with this eclipse. It is not just a new moon. It is not just an eclipse. You think eclipses are busy enough, and they are. We have a lot that is really significant with this eclipse. It's at 29 degrees of Aries, which is a culmination point. It is the last degree of the sign. And when we have events, whenever a planet's at the last degree of a zodiac sign, it really it's a culmination. We really are being asked. It's like you've brought everything to the table, and now we're at a new moon. And in its eclipse, the eclipse means it gives us a little extra strength and a little extra push. And so we're finalizing something before we can initiate things. We had a new moon on just at the spring equinox, within a few hours of the spring equinox, at 0 degrees of Aries. And now we have one at 0 degrees, at 29 degrees of Aries. So 0 Aries, 29 Aries, we have bookends from new moons. And this last one, this one we're talking about right now, is an eclipse. So that's important. It's important for us to really hone in. What are we going to hone in on is self-care and focusing and honing in on what's going on for you in your own personal life. Is very, very important that we pay attention to what's going on in our own world and how we're taking care of ourselves and the actions that we are taking or are not taking, and how we respond to others. We also have Jupiter hanging out with this new moon eclipse, and that means he's cheering us on, or is he egging us on? Jupiter always tends to, it's in the sidelines because he's not actually mathematically connected. He's 6 degrees away. This eclipse is a separating aspect from Jupiter, and that means Jupiter has still got some say because they're close enough, but he's not directly connected. So he's in the sidelines. He's on the sidelines. He's like the coach, or, somebody yelling at you to do something. That's the Jupiter connection with the new moon eclipse. We also have this eclipse within it is mathematically connected to Pluto from a 90-degree angle, but I always like the planets to be in the correct signs. It's an out of sign square, meaning the new moon in Aries, these energies need to be Taurus before they're officially square to Pluto. I'm going to talk about that. And then we have Chiron in Aries too, and that is a lot. We'll just talk about that now. That has a lot to do with self-care. Chiron's going to be in that sign for another 4 years. So while this eclipse does not connect to it mathematically, it is in the sign. And so that gives us a very strong component of inner healing, self-healing. And those are things that are quite important for us to be focusing in on. I am going to share my screen, but Zoom takes forever to share these days. I don't know what its problem is. So you just bear with me while it finds its way to my screen. There it is. Okay. And this is what I'm going to show you now. So hopefully it will stay and we'll be okay. All right. So this is what we have. This is what it looks like. We do not talk about the house placements because everybody's in a different place in the world. You're going to get enough information out of this just by listening to what the energy is. And I've already given you a ton already. So you can hit rewind. That's a really good thing. All right. I want to make sure. Oopsies. And if you saw that was my my notes. And you can get a copy if you saw that. I don't know if it came up on the screen or not. The written forecast, it's a couple thousand words. It's on my blog, and I send it out in a newsletter. So you can join me in either one of those places from DorothyMorganAstrologer.com. And thank you very much. And please don't forget to share this in your social groups. That's how we grow, word of mouth. I don't grow by what YouTube does or Facebook does for me. They don't do much for me. All right. So what else do I want to talk about with this new moon at 29 degrees? I've already told you a lot, but since it is the final degree, that means it is a culmination, right? Again, we have the bookends of 0 new moon in March, and now we have 0 new moon solar eclipse at 29. So it has been a big month for figuring out what you want, what you need in your life, and taking those steps, right? This Aries energy, especially now, it's kind of like this tipping point as to are you taking care of yourself? How do you feel? Are you feeling burnt out? It's wonderful to help others, and like I do, like many people do, through tarot, through energy healing, through the astrology, all of these things. But boy, oh boy, are you recharging yourself? That is what this represents. This is a big tipping point. If you're already feeling burnt out when we get to this eclipse, you can really feel it, all right? Because you feel out of control and just completely and totally exhausted. That's one way that this can play out, but you're getting this early, you're getting a heads up. So this says, it's like, please go take care of yourself. If you haven't been doing it, if you feel you just keep putting it off because you don't have the time, find the time. Please find the time. That's going to be really, really important. And then I think of the tarot. Now, that's not my expertise, but it is something that I am familiar with. Astrology is my expertise. But you think of the Fool card. I know it's a 0 card. So that new moon we had in March was absolutely a Fool card, right? Just initiating action, going without thinking, being brave, having lots of courage, and not having a lot to take with you. However, when we have a new moon at 29 Aries, I don't even know the last time we had one of these, and this is an eclipse. This also reminds me of the Fool card in the sense that we are still being encouraged to step forward. However, what we're bringing with us, that little bag the Fool holds on his staff, right? It is just what we need. We are bringing forward wisdom, knowledge, education, and only what we need. And we only glean these, we only get these things, not glean, but we only get these things through time. And that is what 29 represents. It's the culmination of everything, of all the Aries, all the other Aries degrees, bringing things forward. This is just so important. And if we're looking at Decan rulership, the final 10 degrees of Aries is ruled by Jupiter. And Jupiter is within 6 degrees of this new moon eclipse. And that means he's encouraging us to really to grow and to step forward. But the 29 is also saying only do it from a place of wisdom and knowledge and education and time. Only bring with you what you need. Only bring with you what you need. All the extra stuff is to be let go of. That's what this represents. So while it is a new moon, and new moons are always about what goals do I want to set? What is coming in new now? The energy of this absolutely reminds me of that. It's like I'm only want to bring forward what I absolutely need at this point in time. That's called wisdom, right? We don't need all the extra BS to come with us. Now, that's it on a personal level. I have so much more to talk about. It's not ending yet. I did want to address, before I move on to some of the other things that are really big with this eclipse too. We're gonna see people. I don't live in a bubble. I know you don't. We'll see people who are being aggressive and stressed out and really coming at us. And it's our job individually to look at that, to watch that, and we get to choose how we get to respond. We can respond, we can react, we can reflect back what they're doing. You get to choose, because this isn't all easy. This is Aries. Aries is aggressive. And another piece of this will be a new paragraph in the forecast that I've written up. I also want you to decide, like, if you've been holding back on something because you don't have a lot of courage, and that's okay. It's not everybody's the same, right? So if you've been holding back and you feel like you should be doing something, speaking up, we're going to start talking about Mercury stationary now. We need to speak up. we need to say something. That's Mercury stationary. Let me come back to sharing my screen. Hopefully I will share the right one. Yeah, that's Mercury is retrograde. Okay. And it's stationary during the eclipse. Let me double check. Sometimes I can't tell what I'm sharing here. So I'm going to go to new share. Give me a second. Okay, good. I am sharing the right screen. Here's the eclipse. And this is Mercury stationary. So that happens like 28 hours. Let me grab that chart. Here's Mercury when it's retrograde. It's at a different time of day. So here it is. The moon has moved over to 15 degrees of Taurus as well. And so when I talked about, as I was just shifting these charts, we're talking about, feeling anger or aggression coming at us and how we want to respond to that. That's one thing. And then the other thing I was just mentioning is, the feelings inside. Do I need to speak up? Do I need to say something? Should I take action? And when we don't, we can feel anxiety and stress within ourselves, and that causes a lot of problems. So if you are somebody who is prone to feeling anxiety, you might feel that during this eclipse. Because of the eclipse, because of the culmination of numbers, the 29 degrees, because Jupiter is hanging out right there, here it is again, because Jupiter's hanging out right there with this new moon eclipse, Jupiter will expand all of that thing. The final degree, the final 10 degrees of the fire signs is Sagittarius. So Jupiter rules that, right? So Jupiter rules the final degree. So they're all there. This is big. This is really large. This is very big. And Mercury is stationary this whole time. This is the chart that's up now on April 21st. 4:35 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time is when Mercury is stationary to go retrograde at 15 Taurus. Mercury is how we communicate in Taurus, how we value our words. The moon is hanging out with Mercury at that time. This is incredibly significant. So the 19th, the 20th, the 21st of April, even though the eclipse is at a specific time, but those 3 days really are, we could feel very frustrated, or we can absolutely have these moments of insight. Any of those things can happen. And here is the next chart. This is when the sun ingresses into Taurus. That's for another day. I do a weekly forecast and a monthly forecast over on Patreon. And if you're watching this now, Patreon gets it first. So, hey, come and you can support me there, or just stay here and comment and share. That's wonderful too. Here is when, again, all within a few hours of the eclipse is when the sun is squaring Pluto. Let's go back to one, but they're all still within a square, right? But I remember I like squares to be of the same modality. Squares and oppositions are supposed to be the same modality, meaning fixed, cardinal, fixed, immutable. There they are. They're both fixed now. Anyways, so when we have this represents, a period. Stop my share. This represents, a period of going deeper. It's just a suggestion, though, because Pluto is only going to be at 0 degrees of Aquarius until June 11th. Then it exits. It'll come back in next January. So we're just getting a minor look, peekaboo into what Pluto in Aquarius is going to be about. But with this eclipse, with this happening, the sun and the moon squaring Pluto right at this eclipse within just a few hours, this is an opportunity for us to start a process, a deeper process. What is it that you value? What is it that, you need to release, to let go, to move through? What's that all about, right? It's just a deeper process that we're just initiating when it comes to Pluto. Sometimes it is immediate. There is an event or an occurrence, so you can be aware of that between now and June 11th, when it moves back into Capricorn, there can be an awareness and occurrence, but we really do not know what the long-term effect of that transit is for a very long time, because that's Pluto. He is super duper slow. One way that I've actually seen it kind of explode, and this doesn't have anything to do with the eclipse actually at this moment in time, but it's just the AI. I have just have people saying, "Hey, try this AI." I can't remember the name of it even. Try this AI for your writing for this, that. And it's like, oh no, I don't know if I'm ready to dip my toe into that yet. I have Taurus rising. I have Uranus conjunct my ascendant exactly on May 5th eclipse. Make the change. Gemini Brett always says that. I say it too. I've said it for years as well. It's like, change before change happens. Make the change. And that's what we got going on here. We have an awful lot of things that are really shifting and changing. And this connection, this eclipse squaring Pluto at 0 Aquarius, we're just going to get a hint or a clue, or maybe none at all. So there is that. What else did I want to cover? I did talk about Mercury at 15 stationary at 15 degrees of Taurus. Now it's at that, oh, I don't have that in front of me. It's at that 15th degree for a whole week. So when it shifts on the 21st, so go for like 3 days on either side of that, Mercury is at 15 degrees for almost a whole week. So the details are in the written forecast, so come and check that out. And that means we can have some frustrations around what we're getting out for information and communication. We could have some frustrations, or for some of you who are super scattered, you could actually take the energy of this and like hone in and get that writing done that you need to get done, that assignment, that project, whatever it is. Now, something I didn't mention in the beginning that I think is just phenomenal, and you let me go grab that picture. Okay. Yeah, got it. Something I also wanted to talk about is, it takes a second. Oh, there we go. Yay, it came up faster this time. Terrific. The eclipses. Now, eclipses are usually in 2 zodiac signs. They're always opposite each other. The Aries Libra is what we've been working on. Well, these eclipses in 2023, all of the 4 elements are activated in this in the eclipse cycle for 2023, and that is really unique. That doesn't happen too often. And so just a few keywords here, and you can hit pause if you want to look at this yourself. But this is what we have. So we have the fire comes up first, so it's about initiating action. The eclipse we have May 5th is in water, Scorpio. And so, of course, the water is the emotion. In October, it is in Aries, in Libra, so that's air. So we're going to find that inner harmony, that thinking process. And then on October 28th, it's at 5 Taurus, and that's earth. So that is, energy of groundedness and things like that. So for those of you who are into, your shamanism or nature, earth magic, things like that, this is a wonderful opportunity for you to use 2023 and the eclipses that we have to really, pull that into your practice, or if that's just important for you too, because all four seasons are represented, all 4 elements are represented, the 4 directions are represented. The 4 elements are the 4 directions. This is a wonderful opportunity for us to find all 4 of those compartments within our own selves, because not all of us have all of the elements in our astrology charts that are balanced perfectly. And that's okay. That's just who we are. And so I feel that the overall view of the eclipses for 2023 represent an opportunity, if you choose to do this work, to find the balance within your own air, earth, fire, and water elements throughout the year. Okay, my gosh, I can keep talking, but we're going to leave you with that. Come to the website and read the blog. And you guys, please, and I'm really grateful. Thank you so much for commenting and sharing and putting it out into your own social groups. I really appreciate that because that helps me grow. And I love that. Who doesn't, right? All right, everybody. What else can I say? Blessings. Blessings and namaste.